Guys, before I take you out on an adventure today, I just want to say a massive thank you to our friends at Lancaster Insurance. They are supporting us not only to go on Miners on Tour, but to adventure around the UK and beyond for a whole year. So I cannot wait to take you on loads of different adventures in Mary and show you lots of different exciting places that we're heading off to. If you haven't heard of Lancaster before, they're a UK classic car insurance specialist, and we're going to be supplying them with exclusive content throughout this adventure and beyond. So make sure you give them a follow. I've popped the link to their Instagram in my bio and also to their website as well, because it's definitely worth checking them out if you need to insure your classic car. So stay tuned, because we're about to go on a very exciting adventure in a very special little car called Mary. Hi guys, it's Steph from IDRIVE Classic. We're still in Belgium on Miners on Tour, and today we're on Le Drive, which is a drive around our little bit of Belgium that we're in with over 100 Morris miners. So today I'm going to show you our drive, show you some of the cars setting off, show you some cars starting up and some almost struggling to start, and hopefully you'll enjoy this drive as much as we're going to. So stay tuned, because we're going to see some pretty cool cars, including an Austin Maestro. With so many cars, it is really difficult to get everybody organised. They get us all into rows, and you know, you've got people milling about, everyone wants to take photos. It's the best version of organised chaos I've ever seen. And personally, I don't think I could get this many cars in a row. I can barely get everything lined up on the driveway. We've only got a few. So everybody's getting into rows, and what they do is they now give us a staggered start so that we don't affect local traffic too much.
Well, we're all going on Le Drive to a place called Bouillon or something like that, and I think it's going to be probably about 40 miles altogether, and it's 100 odd cars, so it should be great fun.
Much to my own disappointment, I haven't yet worked out how to time travel, but I do perhaps wonder if, and some of you may be able to tell me this actually, if the roads of Britain sounded like this in like the 60s and 70s, because the hum of these engines and the smells and the sounds is, well, I just love it. Well, it's confession time. Joe and I have been given a set of instructions, and everyone who takes this drive is given the set of instructions. But as you can see with Joe just handing it to me and his face, you know full well that we are not going to follow those instructions. And partly the reason for that is we're going to follow Colin, and also we're hopeless at getting anywhere. I filmed about an hour's worth of drive footage, and it's really difficult because there's so many different things I want to show you, and there's so many kind of different bits of Belgium that I wanted to show you as we drove through, and it's so hard because everything was so pretty, and largely it shows me following Colin as well, and you don't want to watch an hour of me just driving around behind the same white convertible. So I've put together this little drive footage so you can kind of see some of the areas, and especially if you're considering Miners on Tour yourself as a little holiday that you might want to go on, or you're considering what the little drive might look like that we'll go on. I thought I wanted to give you a little bit of a taster of the kind of the routes that they take us on, and how simple it is as well, because I think sometimes people get a little bit het up about the idea of taking classic abroad, and it honestly couldn't be easier. And especially when you're doing something like Miners on Tour, I mean, it's great because they organise everything, and they kind of, you get your handbook sent out, and each day you have different things that you can go on and ideas for days out, and the only thing they can't guarantee is the weather. And as long as you've got a good set of window wipers and you bring a set with you, you should be fine. Sorry about that, the camera was blowing everywhere because the weather's terrible, which is a shame. It's the only thing that's let this drive down is the weather. We've done it, I think this is my sixth year now, and the weather this year hasn't been great, which is a real disappointment, especially for the guys that organised the drive. And I know that they've roped in a local this year to help with some of the Belgian and Flemish on kind of putting the route together and how we speak to people and stuff. Because as you'll see as the video goes through, we've actually been given a car park to park nearly 100 cars, which is a lot of cars in the centre of this beautiful location that we're going to. So I'm going to carry on a little bit more of this trip footage. They weren't broken down, by the way, or we would have stopped, and you can see a little bit more. When they put these drives together, they always put in a few stops, which is great because I always need the loo and it's ridiculous. And they put these little stops in, and sometimes it's so that we can get pictures at scenic points, and sometimes it's so we can fit in a loo break. And it's great because you get to regroup everybody, and it's a great chance for anybody who's having a few problems to just pipe up and say, can I have a hand with this, or does anyone know what this noise is, or we've left such and such behind. And I always think it's just a great little stopping point as well, because it means you can regroup with your friends if you've lost them as well. And we've been quite lucky because we've kind of convoyed just with the people that have been in our chalet, but it means that we get to catch up with everybody as well. So it looks to me as though everybody seems to have made it, but because we've all had staggered starts, it also gives you the opportunity as well that people can take breaks in kind of groups as well, and we aren't clogging up the roads. Because as much as I love to be following 80 million Morris miners, I doubt that the locals that are in a hurry to get to their dentist appointment or to the shops, because the shops aren't open very often here, feel exactly the same way. And it's just another element of that kind of considerate and thoughtful nature that the organisers use when putting together the route. This is for me, I think, one of the most underrated camper, car, van type things that Britain's ever made, and it's called a Marina Suntour, and it's based on the Morris Marina. It's got a 1275 engine, and it's made by Tour Cars in Devon. And I've known about these cars for years, and I've always really wanted one, but they're even more rare than the Marina, so it was so nice to not only see one on holiday, but to see a foreign registered one too. We're having such a laugh on the drive today, so I thought I'd ask somebody else what they think of the route today.
My friend Anton, who's not here this year, gave me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I did a swap with some books for him.
Where have you come from today?
Today?
Well, come from on this holiday.
From London, South London.
Oh, fantastic. And how's your trip been so far?
Wicked. Absolutely wicked.
Oh, I'm glad you're having a nice time.
Yeah, didn't get any rain on the way up. Didn't get any traffic jams either. It was really good.
How many MOTs have you been on now?
Oh, this is only my second.
Oh, is it? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I'm a newbie.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you came back.
Yeah, and next year as well, probably.
Brilliant.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. This break also means I'm able to show you some of the other cars that are on this drive with us this holiday. And it's great really, because I could do a whole video of me just following one other car through Belgium for an hour, but I don't think that's very fun, and I don't think that's very exciting. And I'd actually rather kind of on these little stops and stuff show you some of the other cars. So you've probably just spotted there's a car from abroad, and we've got some of the other cars. I really fancy a yellow Traveller now. Look at that, it's amazing. And it's just nice because I just love this drive. This is my favourite bit of the holiday, actually, because you get to see everybody, and the pace is so relaxed that you get the opportunity to have a little chat with people and see how they're getting on and what they've been up to. So hopefully, as I kind of walk around and show you some of these cars, you can get a real feel for the real breadth and variety of different cars that are here, from saloons to travellers to convertibles, to cars registered in the UK and cars registered abroad, cars that look like they could win a show, through to, well, cars like cars that look like they're used every day and don't look like they've had too much work done. And I just love it. It's just great, and I hope that in this video I really do convey a sense to you that this holiday isn't just about driving your old banger from A to B. It really is about celebrating Morris miners, meeting new friends, and just having a great time, and doing it all in a really kind of organised, fun and environment too. Now that we've stopped and we've had a quick refresher break and we kind of regrouped, we're now going to head off to the village of Belgian, which is in Belgium and not too far from the campsite. So as Steve the Marshal mentioned earlier, it's only 40 miles away from the campsite, but we've been taken on a really pretty drive. So let's crack on and get to the village, because we've honestly got some great stuff to see. some of the footage has been really hard to film today because it was so hard. It's been so windy, it's been so rainy. I've had to be pulling the phone back in, cleaning the screen off, the dash cam died, so everything was against me in making this video on the trip, which is a shame, because if it had been sunny I know that the footage would have been a lot better. But I wanted to show you, just as we drove into the town of Belgium where we're parking up today, what it looks like, because I know that some people that watch these videos don't live in Europe or don't have the ability to maybe travel. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of what it looks like, because people always go abroad and they go to the big cities, and actually some of the beauty of these places around Europe is in the smaller towns and villages, because some of them just look like time warps. They've got the old buildings, and some of the areas that we've visited actually around Belgium have survived quite well through things like World War I, World War II, civil unrest, and some of the buildings are just so old, and it's incredible. And I know that, I'm always blown away by how kind of old-fashioned things are in comparison to some of the stuff that we've got in the UK, because especially around sort of where we live and around some of the places that were heavily bombed during World War II, is that they've just thrown up these ugly grey buildings, and they're not as pretty as some of the places that we visit when we're out and about. And also another added bonus is that we don't have the traffic that we have in the UK, so driving is actually a lot more enjoyable. Now it's time to park up, and I'm going to show you some of the cars that are here today, because honestly they are just so beautiful. This is Bluey, and he's owned by Chris Ryder. Now Bluey is one of the most beautiful cars on this trip, but he's driving into the car park, so let's follow him in and have a look at some of the other cars, because there are some stunning examples. With over, nearly 100 cars here today, it's incredible to think that cars have come from all over Europe just to join us for 1 week of Miners on Tour. And for those of you who haven't been on Miners on Tour before and think that it might be really costly, it's actually one of the cheapest holidays I've ever done. And if you've watched this video today and thought, I'd love to do Miners on Tour, I'd love to be involved, then do it. Sign up, because it's the best week of my life every single year, and I'm certain that it would be yours too. And if you're worried about things like breaking down or insurance or getting towed home, I've experienced all of those things. So I've experienced getting insured, easy enough. We've been insured on this holiday by Lancaster, who've covered us not only to drive in the UK but Europe, and the cost was incredibly competitive, and the policy that they put together for us was fantastic. And we're covered by RAC breakdown in Europe, and again that was easy enough to sort out. And as for breaking down, I want to have my cylinder head go in France, and it's easy enough to get parts be shipped out, or people carry stuff with them, and we bring an extensive parts list with us, and different people bring different parts, and everybody's so very willing to share and help if something goes wrong. So if you've been thinking about coming on Miners on Tour for a little while, and you've been umming and ahhing about whether you should do it and whether your car will make it, we've taken a car that hasn't been on the road since 1989 and was put together in 3 weekends, and it's been so easy. We've driven it here, and it's been a short MOT, so they do vary between short and long MOTs each year, and you go to different places. And honestly, don't let any of the excuses that are going through your mind put you off, because Miners on Tour is one of the most magical experiences that you can experience. And I absolutely love seeing people from all over Europe. We've got people on the trip from Netherlands, there are people from Germany. I've had people speaking all different languages, and I think I even overheard an American the other night. People come from all over the world to come on this trip, and you know what? It's worth every single penny. And if you're watching this from Australia, or you're watching it from America and you're thinking, I can't really come unless I've brought a Morris Minor, you might have spied the Micra earlier in the video, and the chap who brought the Micra said to me that his Morris Minor wasn't ready in time, and he brought that instead, which was a sensible decision, because not everybody's idiotic like us and will bring a car that hasn't been on the road in goodness knows how long. But everybody's been so welcoming, and you know, people are just grateful that they've come anyway, even if they have come in a modern Micra. So even if you do have to come in a modern car, or even something as gorgeous as that Marina Suntour, then do it, because this week has just been magical. And I'm going to put the details in my bio below so that you can have a look at Miners on Tour and get yourself signed up. Guys, we've had so much fun doing Le Drive today, and I really hope you've enjoyed our video showing exactly how it's been and all the different cars. Can you believe there were nearly 100 Morris Minors on that drive today? It's incredible, and everybody, I think, managed to get there and back without too much trouble. Now, if you've enjoyed the video today, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, and leave me a little comment about any questions you've got on Miners on Tour or Morris Minors in general. Until next time, take care and drive safely.